Hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and I have a very special crafty haul. This is actually my very first design team package from Artesprix. I am so honored that I was chosen to join their design team for the upcoming term, and I just can't be more grateful and honored by this because Artistry, I understand they are taking a little bit of a bet on me because I don't have sublimation videos on my channel, and so they know that, and they know that I am not a pro at sublimation. But what I hope to do is share this learning experience with you and show you that if you are like me and you're a paper crafter, a card maker, that you can use a lot of the supplies that you already have and, dive into the world of sublimation. And I've actually been very intrigued and interested in sublimation for a while now. I would say for months and months. But what made me hesitate was I wasn't exactly sure which path I wanted to go down. Not that they are mutually exclusive, but depending on one or the other, you might find yourself investing in different things. So by that I mean you could go down the path of Artistry and get these amazing different media supplies, which I'll go through and show you in a moment. Or you could take the plunge and get a sublimation printer or convert a printer to be a sublimation printer and go that route. What had me hesitating was I was leaning toward Artistry because I already have so many other craft supplies. I already have like 3 different printers and I didn't want a fourth. So I was just very undecided on that, but thankfully I made it onto the Artistry team, and now that decision has been made, and so now I can just have fun. I don't know why I waited this long, but I have dabbled a little bit, and I'm excited to really dive full in. So if you are not aware or familiar with the term, sublimation, the word, it's a chemistry term, and it really just means when any substance goes from a solid state to a gaseous state and skips over the liquid phase. So the best example that is for me easiest to remember is take for instance water. The solid state of water is an ice cube, and when you apply heat to that ice cube, it will melt, it will turn into liquid water, apply more heat, and then it will eventually become steam, which is the gaseous state of water. And so sublimation is the process of an ice cube going directly to steam, totally skipping the liquid water phase, and then back to solid again. And how that's used in the world of printing and creating is these mediums have all been specially formulated for that sublimation process. So these acrylic paints are special for this process because when enough heat gets applied, these will automatically go directly from the solid state that you see it in into a gas, and then it will transfer onto a blank. And what I mean by a blank is something that is a substrate that is receptive to absorbing that gaseous state of the medium. And then when that solidifies again, it basically becomes a part of the blank. This will only work on substrates that have a high percentage of polyester. There are some different things that you could do to convert, say, like a cotton t-shirt into something that you can sublimate onto, but essentially what it comes down to is that you need a receptive substrate, and polyester is what's common as a substrate for sublimation. But the blanks come in a multitude of different types, and I think there are things that you can apply, like vinyls and whatnot, that you can apply to make any surface be able to receive a sublimation design. But what that means is that you can create your design with any of these different media supplies onto just plain old copy paper. And so, for instance, I have an airbrush, and I just airbrushed some ink. I'll show you exactly what I used in a moment. This is just plain old copy paper, like just thin copy paper. And I know it looks very lackluster, but when you sublimate it, I used a photopolymer stamp from Pink and Mean. I stamped this design onto the paper, and then I have a video on these two coasters, which I'll link to if you want to see how I made these specific ones. But you can see that background that's been spray painted with my airbrush, that originally came from this background. And then I took the stamps, I stamped it once in purple for the hearts, pink over here, and then brown for the tree. And then you apply heat. I have a heat press that I use, and look at how bright and gorgeous those colors are. So this is completely a part of this coaster now. So, you can wipe it. It's going to be durable. You can't scratch it off. It's part of that plastic. And so that is what you can achieve with sublimation and so much more. So let me give a brief rundown of the different supplies that Artesprix sent me, because I was blown away by all the things. And I wrote to Ashley. I was like, oh my gosh, Ashley, I got my DT package and I can't believe how much stuff you sent me. And her response was, we don't like to limit our designers. We want you to have all the colors. So I thought that was so sweet. So these are relatively new. These are the iron-on ink sublimation acrylic paints. Originally, they came in a different form factor, and originally they had these colors, your primary colors, as well as black if you want to make it a shade lighter, or white, which is a lightening agent, to make it a tint of it to be lighter in color. And so that is what they originally had. But with the three primary colors, of course, you can mix all of the colors under the rainbow, especially with black and white. You can tint it, you can shade it. But now, in the line of acrylic paints, you have your secondary colors. So you have green from yellow and blue, you have orange from red and yellow, you have your purple from blue and red, as well as two additional colors, brown and pink. So pink would be your red and white. Brown would be basically all three of these mixed together. You can achieve a brown. And so all of those are available in these paints. So if you like to paint, you can paint your own designs. What I am super excited for, I kind of showed you a glimpse of it already, is the fact that if you are like me and you're a paper crafter, you probably have a lot of stamps. And so these ink pads are amazing. So you can get sublimation stamp ink, and they are specially formulated, just like the acrylic paints are, to go through the sublimation sort of process so that you can get beautiful transfers. And they come in all the same colors, except there isn't a white, because you don't really need that. So you have your black, pink, red, orange. You've got your yellow, green, blue, purple, and brown. And you can already see I used some of those colors already. They all have re-inkers. So what's fabulous with having the re-inkers is that, yes, you can freshen up your ink pads with them, but if you are a paper crafter, you probably know that having re-inkers like your dies, die re-inkers, for example, there's so many different techniques that you could do just using it straight out of here. And this is what I used with my airbrush to create this. So I have plenty more of this that I can make a few more coasters with. And it's just this really nice kind of spray paint effect. And that's the look that it gives you, which I really, really love. I think it's something kind of fun, kind of unique. So for this, I used the green, blue, and pink. And so that's, see how I've got some purples here for where the pink and the blue overlapped. I've got some really nice teal up there. So very, very lovely. This one just happened to be one where I had a lot more blues and greens in that particular area. So really fun, different way of using these. And all I did was I have an airbrush gun. I diluted this with some water because it's pretty pigmented. It's really strong to use 100%. So I just diluted this with some water and sprayed it onto copy paper. And it was as easy as that. So all of your stamp pads have re-inkers for them. Then as well, if you're going to be using your regular photopolymer or red rubber stamps or acrylic stamps, there is a cleaner that's specially formulated for these inks. So you do want to make sure you have the right cleaners so that you're cleaning your stamps well. And in addition to the paints, in addition to the stamp pads, you do also have markers. So again, these are sublimation markers. The inks are specially formulated, and there are different color sets. So there's, I've got the basic colors, and they come in two form factors. So one that has a fine tip and one that has a chisel tip. So chisel tip's great for coloring in larger areas. Fine tip is great for doing outlines, mandala designs like these. So really, really cool. But these two are the same colors. So these basically have pretty much the same colors as what I showed in the paints and the stamp. You got your yellow, red. I think that might be actually a gray. Yeah, that's a gray, black, brown. So that's one color that's not in here. Black, brown, blue, purple, green, orange, and red. So you've got I think one of these is pink. One's pink and one's red. So you've got all of those colors. There's 10 markers in the set. So those are the basic colors in the markers. Then we have as well 2 other sets of colors so that you can kind of stretch your color palette. This one is your pastel colors. So really, really lovely. Both of these are in the chisel tip. So there are the color names there. And then you have this, which is in your bold colors. So these are going to be really saturated, kind of the opposite spectrum of your pastels, right? These are going to be very bold, very saturated, and they may not necessarily be a lot darker. They're just going to be, I think, much, much more saturated, because you can see some of these might be the same, but it's just darker or more saturated versus a little bit more maybe they have a little bit more of that lightening agent if you were to kind of mix your own in the acrylics. So adding if you wanted to try to color match, you could probably do that just by mixing up some of these colors. And if you want something with a little bit more pastel, add some of the lightening medium. So those are the markers. So you can always stamp and then color with your markers. You can stamp and paint to color. You can stamp and squish out, some of your ink onto, or use some of the refill, add some drops onto your silicone mat or a glass mat, dilute it with a little bit of water, and just watercolor with it. So lots of different ways that you can create a design that you can sublimate. I used solid stamps, which makes it really easy. So if you have a lot of solid stamps, say like layering stamps would be great, because you could just use that bottommost solid layer. That would be fabulous. So lots of different options there. Then Artesprix also sent me some, speaking of stamps, some stamps that they make. Now these are special because when you create your design, what you end up doing is creating your design on some copy paper. So this is what was used to create this coaster. And so once you have your design on copy paper, what you do is you're going to put your blank right on top of it like that. And so that means that if you've stamped a word and it's readable this way, when it gets transferred onto your blank, it's actually going to be mirrored because we flip this upside down onto the substrate. And so that is one consideration for when you are creating your design, because if you're using anything that has a very specific direction, left to right, then you want to make sure to mirror your design. In this case, I use hearts, and from left to right, it's totally fine. You don't have to worry about mirroring anything. But if you're going to be customizing things, adding sentiments or names or initials, then you do want to mirror all of those words. And so Artesprix has created an alphabet and number stamp set so that you can stamp out mirrored letters that are all ready to go. When you stamp them on your paper, it's going to read backwards, but once it transfers, you're going to be totally set and it will be legible. Similarly, there's a set of words that are already mirrored. So when you stamp this down, it's going to read backwards, but that's how it needs to look when you go to do your sublimation. So the words in this set are friend, hello, peace, love, happy, woof, and travel. And so there's lots of different occasions that you can use those for. Then there's also a mirror stamp plate. So if you have sentiment stamps or word stamps that you want to use, then what you can do is mirror stamp. And basically what that means is you stamp your sentiment onto this mirror stamp plate, and then you stamp this onto your sublimation design, which then has the effect of mirroring it. And then you put your design onto your substrate, which mirrors it back again so that it reads correctly. So I'll definitely do videos on how to do that, but it's nice that Artesprix has already thought about all of the tools that you might need to use the stuff that's already in your craft room. And that's why I'm really excited to be a part of the Artesprix design team. I'll be contributing to the blog on their website, and I will have videos on my channel for extra projects that I plan to make. The other things that Artesprix sent me to get started was, of course, some blanks. So you have some coasters. These happen to be the textured ones. I think they have some that are smooth as well. This is a set of 4. The coasters that I showed earlier, these round ones, these are actually from Craft Express. And I picked these up along with some other blanks because they were on sale from at Joann's. So look for some sales, because sublimation supplies are available in your craft stores. They're available online as well, so do check that out. And of course, I'll leave links to everything, not individually, but I'll leave links to baby categories of things if you want to check out the Artesprix website, and any links that I do provide will be affiliate links. So just take note, if you do use my links, then I will get a bit of a commission, but that's not going to come at any additional cost to you. So some other links that they have, I mentioned the word travel, so there's these plastic bag tags, which are great for your luggage. Kind of nice to be able to customize your own luggage tag. That way, when it's coming off the belt, you can immediately tell which one's yours. You don't even have to like monogram it. Just, I'm sure whatever design you create is going to look so uniquely yours that you're going to immediately recognize it. And similarly, I sometimes use keychains, not as keychains that I would maybe put in my purse or my pocket, but that I would actually attach to like a messenger bag or book bag or whatnot. And so these metal keychains are really fun too. They are on the larger side, so I imagine these are a bit large for somebody to maybe put in their pocket. But I often use keychains as more ornamental than as something that I would put in my pocket. But these are hefty. They're metal, so they're pretty like heavy duty, kind of pretty nice. So there are those, and then there are some soft crafts as well. So there's a kitchen towel that I got here that's going to be really fun to sublimate onto. This is a great opportunity to maybe do something that is more of a like a custom design for the chef or the cook in your family. You can put their name, like Lynn's Kitchen. I wouldn't do Lynn's Kitchen just because I'm no cook. I spend as little time in the kitchen as I can. But besides the kitchen towel, I know there are some pillowcases. There's a pet bandana in the Artesprix shop. So just shop their blanks if you're curious to see what other things that are available to sublimate onto. Then some other basic supplies that you'll need if you want to get into sublimation. So heat tape is really important because you can see these squares here. That's what held my design down to my coaster. And you can't just use regular tape because regular tape will probably melt under the heat. So you always have to kind of read the blanks to see, what temperature you need to heat to in order for the process to complete. But some blanks need to be heated upwards of 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So you need a heat-resistant tape in order to not have it melt directly onto your project and ruin your blanks. So other basic supplies, this is cool. This is their heat-resistant transfer mask. So this is basically like the same material as the heat-resistant tape, but as a full sheet, which has the unique aspect of you then being able to cut like a stencil design in, and then you can mask off. Let's say I wanted to like keep some portion of this white. Like if I wanted white words, for example, if I wanted the word Lynn in white, so the native color of this kitchen towel, but I wanted to maybe I want to spray paint a design. So what I could do is I could just actually cut out my name, apply it to the substrate. That's going to block any ink from transferring onto my project. And I could do like a full sheet of just a spray painted design. And I don't have to worry about reserving space for my name, for example, because I've masked it off with this paper or with this masking sheet. And then I can just transfer this whole sheet onto the kitchen towel. And when that's done, because I've got the mask on here, I can just peel off the mask, and that would leave that area that's under the mask bright white. and it would have that really fluid, continuous design behind it. So the transfer mask is kind of cool. I think there's a lot of different ways to use this, which would be a lot of fun. And then just continuing on with some basic supplies, I'm really glad they outfitted me with everything because I would not have had all of this. So this is a really nice heavy duty silicone mat. It's like half an inch thick. And it's really fabulous because it's heat resistant. It's going to protect my work surface. And so really, really great that they have provided this. I'm sure if you have like a small heat press, like a 10 by 10 heat press, that say Cricut makes, you could probably do some of your sublimation like right on your desktop, and this would protect your work surface. So that's really wonderful. I have a big heat press machine, so I do everything on there if I can. And then the last thing, just as, now this you're going to need a lot of. This is protective paper. So it is special siliconized paper. I know a lot of places, people who do sublimation will just use maybe butcher paper, which you could do as well. But the idea behind using this is that it's going to protect your surfaces and your heat press from having any of this sublimation medium transfer onto it. Because if you look at my design, I cut it out of a full sheet of paper. And so there's ink everywhere. All of that would have transferred, and because it becomes a gas, it just kind of can float and go wherever. And so if you want to protect your heat press from all of this excess ink, then you want to lay down some protective paper first. Because the next time you go to heat that up again, it's just going to transfer from your heat press to your next project. But if you've laid down some protective paper, then instead of transferring onto your heat press, it's going to transfer onto this, and then you can just toss this, right? And the same thing with the top of your platen of your heat press. You want to make sure, because look at how saturated this got as it transferred. This actually might have transferred through the copy paper, because remember, this is just thin copy paper. So I had a couple layers of the protective paper on top also, just to protect the top platen of my heat press. So it's inexpensive, and it's gonna help you kind of prevent any oopsies. So Artesprix was very generous. They gave me this really thick roll of 60 feet by 12-inch roll, so really, really nice. And they gave me multiple rolls of this too, so because it's something that it's a consumable, you're gonna go through it, but it's better to be generous with it than not, because that way you can really protect each project from project to project. So that is most of my design team package from Artesprix. Thank you so much for this generous package. I did not show, because every month there is a blank of the month. So the blanks are your substrates that you would sublimate onto, and every month there's a new release that you can look forward to. And so I don't want to give any sneaky peeks for the upcoming months of new blanks, so you'll have to stay tuned to check that out, and be sure to subscribe to the Artesprix YouTube channel if you want to get alerted, because I'm sure they put out videos whenever the new blanks or new releases or products come out as well. Check out the Artesprix blog. That's where you'll find my projects, and as well I'll be sharing projects to here to my YouTube channel. So lots to look forward to, and I can't wait to really dive into these products. And I've got, as I mentioned, a couple of different blanks from Craft Express as well, so I'm really excited to also share some of those projects. I got these coasters, and I also got a tumbler that I'm excited to sublimate onto. So a lot of fun stuff. And you'll have to let me know in the comments below if you do sublimation and what you think of this world of sublimation. So thanks so much for catching this video today. And again, I'll leave links to everything in the description box below if you're curious to check that out for yourself. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.